Well, hey guys, it's Destry. Welcome back to my Oregon yard. Tonight is a really fun thing. Tonight we are going to be harvesting garlic. My garlic patch behind me is fully done. They are ready to harvest. Might be harvesting a little bit early, but I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. So today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks about knowing when to harvest your garlic, how to plant garlic, and hopefully we'll get a really good harvest tonight. So I planted this garlic back in the fall, and I have a different video about that. This was actually my second season growing garlic, and there might be a couple onions tucked in here as well. But growing garlic, you guys, it's so easy. Basically, you want to find really good seed garlic, or you can get like organic garlic from like a nicer retailer. And basically you separate all of the little pieces of it, and you can just put one little clove of garlic, and then it overwinters, at least in my area in zone 8B, and in the spring you get to harvest garlic. So it's such a cool thing. It's really easy to grow. It's a really great winter crop because when everything else in the garden is done and you know that it's still under the ground and it's still growing and doing its thing. So anyway, if you haven't seen the video about me planting garlic, I will try to drop a couple videos below about planting garlic. I have a few of those, but I am ready to harvest my garlic today. So let me go ahead and show you some ways that you will know that it's time to harvest your garlic. So basically your garlic will send up something called a scape. So the scape looks like this. It's kind of like the flower almost of the garlic. And when you start to see the scapes come up from the center, they look kind of like that. That's your cue that your garlic is almost done. Another cue is that these first couple sets of leaves will start to brown, and then your garlic will start to flop over. Now I'm actually harvesting mine a little bit early. I could honestly leave mine in the ground for another couple weeks, but you guys that have been following me for a while know that I'm really interested in growing cut flowers, and I need this space. I am ready to harvest this so that I can plant some of my seedlings, which are outgrowing their little seedling pots and are ready to get in the ground. About 2 weeks ago, I turned off the irrigation to my garlic, meaning I stopped watering it. And we have had a week now of temperatures into the 70s during the day, so pretty warm. And I've noticed some of my garlic is starting to flop over, which is another good sign that it's ready to harvest. So basically when you harvest these, you can either pull them out, or you can use kind of a fork tool and sort of get underneath them and lift them out. And that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. So it's just going to take some muscle and some energy, but I'm going to go ahead and get it done. And then I'm going to let these cure. So I'm going to let them sit in the sun for a few weeks with all of this growth, all the green on there, until all this green basically browns up and sort of starts to wither away, and then you can just cut it. But I'm going to let the garlic cure by, absorbing all the nutrients from the greens and kind of like finishing its process, right, by letting it dry in the sun. So I do need to make sure I watch the weather forecast and make sure it's not going to get any moisture. And we haven't really had very much like dew in the mornings and stuff, and I'm just going to leave it outside in the heat and let it dry and cure. But let me flip the camera around and I'll show you my garlic patch and show you some of those scapes and what to look for. So here is my bed of garlic, and you can see it's a very large bed in my eyes. It's a pretty large bed here in my yard, and the scapes kind of look like this. And you're supposed to wait until the tip of the scape, this little pointy part, curls all the way up and points to the sky. So really, like I said, I could wait a little bit longer, but when it was to get, if it was to get more like that, like a full curl around, then you would know that it's ready. And so I am jumping the gun a little bit on these, but let me see if I can find one that's a little bit more finished. See how this one has a full curl, and then this is pointing up. So once that tippy top points up, then you know for sure that your garlic is ready. And again, mine's a little immature, but that's okay. I think that the size of the garlic is going to be fine. My plan for this garlic is to sell it on the flower stand or share it with friends and family. We use some garlic, but not this much. I mean, this is like a lot. And I think there's a few onions hanging out in here. So conversely, this is the top of an onion. So you can see the scape is really different. It's like thicker, and so I'm pretty sure that is an onion bulb, I think. I'll have to get in here and see. I think I had some onions and garlic in this bed. Just kind of grabbing them by the root here, by the stem. And again, another reason I like to do it a little early is when these get real papery, it's really hard to do that. But this is what starts to happen, is this gets all kind of brown and papery and dead. But look at the size of that one, you guys. So great. And again, once these cure, you can sort of trim off those roots when they dry a little bit better. But some of this is going to take, you know, a little bit of muscle. I need 2 hands. Or I can take that fork and get in here and lift it up. But I'm anxious to get it all out of this bed because I'm ready to plant more cut flowers. So let me show you why I'm pulling this out today, and showing you what I'm planning on planting here. Also, my pumpkin patch and squash is doing amazing over here. They're really putting on some growth. But this is what I'm planning on planting today. Again, sorry about the shadows, but I do a lot of my videos after work in the evening when I have time for my fun hobby here. So these are a bachelor's button, and this variety is called Firework. So it's a red, white, and kind of a purpley blue color. And you can see these are already starting to bud up. I am watering them every day. Every day they're wilting. They're ready to get out of these little teeny pots. They're ready to take off. So I want to get these in that garden bed. And then the other thing I really need to get planted is the celosia. This is the sponge sugar from Proven Winners. Not Proven Winners, I'm sorry, from Floret. And you can see I have quite a bit of it. And again, it wants to flower. It wants to grow and put on some size. So I need to get these in a garden bed. And then I have a ton of zinnias as well. Now I have a different plan for where those are going to go, but I at least want to get some of this planted up. I don't know how much I'll be able to get to tonight, but my goal is to get the garlic harvested and then maybe start with the bachelor's button and get those in the ground. And this is how I'm going to be, you know, curing these. I'm just going to lay them out in these little trays and let them do their thing in the sun for a couple weeks until they're all cured. And then I'll cut all the greens off, probably trim up the roots. I won't wash the dirt off necessarily, but if I sell them on the flower stand, I might. So I'm just going to let them do their thing and cure. So I'm just going to get in here. Now the bad thing about using the fork is sometimes you pierce the garlic, and I don't want to do that. So I think what I'm going to try to do is just do it by pulling the most that I can. And then if I really can't get it loose, then I'll get in there with the fork. This bed is dry-ish. Like I said, I turned off the water a while back. And I need to turn the water back on when I get this planted up. Ooh, that's a big one. It's just so you kind of the size variety here. That one's really big versus some are a little bit smaller, but they all look really, really good. No, nothing looks too squishy. Get some of that dirt out of there. Nothing looks too squishy around the base. So that's another reason you want to sort of cut off the watering when you start to see those scapes. You don't want things to get mildewy or moldy. Look how pretty they are. So this one is a different, oh, actually, maybe it's not. So this is a good example of ones that I could save out and I could replant. So ones like this, obviously I can't really use. So this was kind of a grouping, and they will do that. They'll put on little babies like that. So what I could do with these ones is same process, just let them cure. And then, but when they're tiny like this, I can use those as sort of seed garlic for next fall when I plant them again. Also could have left them in the ground longer to see if they got any bigger. But these are really great because you don't have to chop them up. You just cut them and you can just throw them in a dish, stir fry them, and they're really great. Also, I should mention that you can harvest the scapes, which are those little curlicue things I shared with you, these guys. You can actually take these and pull them out. See if I can get it to do it. Oh, no, it broke. But you can pull them and you can cut these up and saute them in like scrambled eggs or something. It smells good. And they provide like a mild garlicky flavor. And so you can use those culinary as well. So you can get rid of that little flower part, but this part you could cut it up and fry it up or use it in dishes. I probably won't do that this time because I'm just interested in getting all this harvested and out of this garden bed. You could leave these in the ground until this whole part turns brown. I've seen some people do that as long as it's dry, the earth is dry. But I mean, look at the size of these. These are a great size. So I think they're just right for harvesting. Oh, I got one here. I'm gonna need more room to let them cure. This is an onion. You can see it has a different look to it. So that's an onion. And that's that one I showed you where the scape was like bigger like that. And it will actually flower like a purple flower, kind of like an allium. So those are just some little, they're like a shallots. They're not any kind of like big walla walla or something. The kind I had, excuse me, it was just like kind of like little shallots. So these are perfect. I can let these cure, or I can just use them fresh. You could just cut off the stems and, you know, fry them up and cook them into meals or stir fries or whatever. But these are some, I thought there was some onions hiding out in here. So yeah, I found some. So I believe this kind that I keep pulling up is called the insulin red. And then I just found some more. This one is a white variety. I'll see if I can find the name of it. Now, these ones, I feel like they could have used a little bit more time. See how they're a little bit like a club shape? They probably could have gone a little bit longer. But I just really want to put my flowers in the ground, you guys. Veggie gardening has kind of gone to the wayside a little bit as I'm getting more into flowers and cut flowers. So I just kind of want to get them out of here. Ooh, that's a big one. Look at the size of that one. That's a good one. This one's a little bit more papery at the bottom. I think I read about 3 sets of leaves to be papery. Let's see what this one next to it's doing. That one's not as big. Oh, there's a lot of weeds. All right, let's check out this guy. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right, I'm almost there, you guys. I have like 4 more to pull. Okay, my back hurts. Okay, pull it. I'm using some serious back muscles right now. Okay, one more, last one. Ah, I have done it. I have gotten all the garlic. Holy moly. Oh my Lord. Oh my gosh, you guys. There's so much garlic. Oh, and this bed looks a mess. Whew, that was a little, hurts a little bit. All right, here it is, Mount Garlic. Mount Garlic. You guys. It's so much garlic. That's not even all of it. Look, there's more garlic. A garlic. Garlic. More garlic. Oh my gosh, you guys. I might have gone a little heavy on the garlic planting, but they all multiplied. They all like put on little babies. I'm kind of bummed some of the heads are pretty tiny. Like that's pretty tiny. I don't know, y'all. Ones like this are perfect, right? I think that's gonna be great. These insulin reds are so good. I love them. These white ones aren't my favorite anyway, but even, yeah, I don't know. Probably could have waited. Probably could have waited a little bit. Some of these are pretty tiny, but that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and set up. I have a little wire table I'm gonna set up and lay some of these out to start curing. All right, so I've got this little wire table. I'm gonna set this up and just lay some of them out on here in the sun, but that's still not gonna be enough room. I don't know where I'm gonna put all these, y'all. Look at all this garlic. This is insanity, man. It's garlic insanity. All right, so I'm just gonna get in here and use my garden claw and watch my drip line. And I'm just gonna rough up this soil. And then, oh man, I just said I was gonna watch my drip line, then I just pulled it out. And then I've also got quite a bit of weeds here. So I think I'm gonna claw and then rake. And the soil is surprisingly damp still, which was probably good for pulling out all that garlic. I didn't have to get my fork involved at all. The ground's really soft still since it's still spring. But again, I just want to reiterate, guys, you could totally wait longer than I did. In fact, I'm probably rushing it a bit, but I've seen people, you know, leave their garlic in until, man, this got a lot of weeds, until it's just totally brown and looks completely dead and then pull it out. I just am jumping the gun a little bit here. All right, well, I'm making progress. It's not perfection, but it's progress. I got all the garlic drying over here. I'll show you that in a minute. I got the bed kind of tilled up and raked. Really, I should add some compost and things like that, but this soil is pretty good. It is a raised bed, so I have made sure to fill it with really nutrient-rich soil. It's not new soil. It's been growing garlic all season, so technically I should probably put some new soil in there, but again, we're going for progress, not perfection. So I'm gonna grab some of my flats of flowers and start to kind of lay things out. And hopefully I have enough room for a couple tomatoes. I've promised my kids a couple tomato plants, even though I said I'm not doing like a veggie garden this year, really. I am doing pumpkin squash, and then my potato bed I tried to take out the potatoes and they just came back. So I got to do something about that too, because I have pumpkins in there that are getting all smothered. But anyway, my point is I'm not doing a big veggie garden. I'm doing a flower garden this year mainly. But I'm going to go ahead and get things laid out, and hopefully I can fit a couple tomato plants. I only have one right now. I probably need to save room for one more just in case, but I'm going to go ahead and get stuff laid out. All right, so I got all the bachelor button in. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of 5. And some are kind of teeny and some are bigger, and they're all kind of flopped over and mad at me right now, but I'm really enjoying this. Soil itself is like super soft. I'm not even using my trowel, I'm just using my hands. So now it's onto the celosia, which some of these have 2 and 3 in a pot. I think, I don't know guys, should I try to separate them all? I think I'm just gonna cluster them a little bit. Well, I don't know. These ones I feel like you can put pretty close together. Maybe I'll do a row of 6 instead of the 5. Get all wet. Okay, knock it off. No, no. No, no, no. All right, garden friends. Well, the sun is officially going down and I am losing daylight, but this bed looks a lot different than it did about an hour ago. So let me flip the camera and give you a tour of how everything turned out. All right, well, this garden bed sure looks different, doesn't it? I mean, everything's flopped over right now, so it doesn't look super impressive, but I did get my daughter's tomato in the ground. So here it is with plenty of space-ish to grow and develop. Here, let me get out of the sun. The sun is officially behind the tree over there. That's my cue that it's probably time to get inside. But you guys, I got it done. I got it done in one evening. I got all the sponge sugar celosia in the ground. That's the one from Floret. I'm so excited about this, you guys. It's going to be so pretty in my bouquets. I got my bachelor's button, the firework variety. I've got my tomato, got the 1 tomato, and I'm super excited to see how all these do. This bed gets quite a bit of sun, so I think they'll be fine. So let me know in the comments, have you ever grown celosia like this? Have you ever grown bachelor buttons like this? Let me know in the comment what your experience is with these kind of plants. I got to do a little bit more research to see if these are going to need staked up or netted or anything like that, but for now, I'm just excited that I was able to get all these seedlings in a new home out of their little containers. And not to mention, I was able to harvest a ton of garlic. So here is my little wire table just loaded with garlic. Again, some of them are on the smaller side, but that's okay. They're still going to be delicious. And I also have the top of this rack just loaded up. I've got this loaded up on both sides. I will have to get out here and kind of rotate these and make sure that I'm not getting any mildew or anything. And I have this container of them. Some of them are really good sized, you know, so it's exciting to have all this garlic harvested and it can be curing. And I was able to clear out so much space over here for my seedlings. So now the main seedlings that I have left, you guys, are zinnias. I've got a ton of zinnias to get in the ground. I'm just waiting for all my stalk to get done. And then I do have just a few other things, like these are some snapdragons and things like that, but mostly it's going to be zinnias from here on out. And then most of my seedlings will be in their permanent homes. So it's really exciting to have this bed all flipped from kind of a fall winter to a spring summer vibe out here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in the garden tonight, guys. I hope you liked checking out my garlic harvest, seeing all the cut flowers that I am flipping the bed and planting. And I definitely will keep you updated on all of this beautiful florals. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the updates. I hope you guys are enjoying your spring wherever you're at. And if you need me, I'll be doing some gardening. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.